Howdy, welcome to the Spaghetti Agency and welcome to the replay. Thank you for tuning in, I really do appreciate it. I'm just going to do some tinkering down here, but in a few moments I'm going to get going and share you some stuff, things I've learned about social media. But for now, I'm just going to go and share it into some groups, which is the first tip really for you. If you do any Facebook Lives, make sure that you share these things live. So I'm currently going live in my page and I shall be going live into a few events and stuff as well. So let me just find this down here, which I've got. So thank you for tuning in, really do appreciate it. If you're just tuning in now, I'm literally just sharing this into events and stuff as well. Because people are looking for this in different places. So I've just shared that into the event, which you can do. Hey Jacob, welcome along buddy, nice to have you along. I'm just doing the whole sharing thing, so bear with me a few minutes. I always go live a couple of minutes early, just so I can do this whole sharing thing. So let's whack it into a few places. Put that there, that's good. So if you can hear me, let me know, just tap the emoji so I can I know we were working. Last time I went live in my office, we had a couple of sound issues, so if you can hear me, just smack the emojis, that'd be fantastic. Let's just share that. Where else have I got to share? Let's share it to my own timeline. So one more to go. That's there. There we go. So I've got 5 people live, which is good. So do let me know if you're there, if you can hear me, that's great. Hey everyone, how are you? I'm going live on my page tonight, which I've not done for ages. So I just wanted to see, so I've got some comments coming up. So how do you share live whilst you're being live, says Jacob. So what I actually do is I've got a laptop down here and I actually find my own broadcast. So I've gone to my own page, refreshed it, found myself, and I click share, and then you can share to different places. So that's how I do that. What's up, TC, how are you doing? Hey, Christopher. I'm having to look at the comments down here because they're not coming up on my screen. So this is why I always have 2 screens, because it always goes wrong. So there's a few comments coming in. Howdy, Emma, how are you? Now, I had a great idea about going live, and I thought I'd do some tips and stuff, and I'm completely unprepared because that's how I wanted to do it tonight. Because when I started doing social media, when I started doing this kind of stuff, I had no idea what I was doing. I had absolutely no history, no backup, no education to it, nothing. So I thought tonight I'd wing it. I've got a little bit of stuff down here, tiny bit, but I'm going to give you what I've learned in under 30 minutes, as promised by the title. Stuff I've learned since starting, since the day dot. I'm just going to wait for a couple more people to go live. We are literally just about 8 o'clock, so that's good. There's a few comments. If you can hear me, that'd be great if you could just whack some comments in. Howdy to David, who's just joined. Stick some comments in, because I can't see comments on here, which is probably a Facebook pages issue, because I'm currently live on my page, and usually I go live on my profile. So I can see all the stuff coming up down here. So there's a little bit of a bug there. So thank you to Ivan for putting some emojis in. You see it's working. This is good. Can't see up here. So first tip really, if you're going to go live on Facebook, I always double screen. So I look after a TV channel called Foreign TV Live, which is all based on Facebook Live. And I always tell people to have 2 screens. I've got my phone here, but I've got my desktop down here. Purely because sometimes Facebook breaks. Howdy Jacqueline, how are you? Hearing you loud and clear. This is good. Kim Clay says I'm sounding good. Glenn says good. And Emma says you can hear me. Awesome. Right, let's go, shall we? So I'm going to promise to do it in under 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, this is my little friend here. Still hasn't got a name. Still no name. No one's given him a name. So if you want to give him a name, that's absolutely cool by me. But for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Todd, and I run Spaghetti Agency with my partner Joe. And this is my life. This is what I love doing. I love teaching people how to do social media. I love running people's social media. I love coming up with strategy. But 4 years ago, I was not in this office. 4 years ago, I didn't run this agency. 2 years ago, it wasn't even called Spaghetti Agency. So I'm going to kind of tell you some stuff that I've learned as we've developed, really. If you followed our story for a while, then bless you. I absolutely appreciate you following me for a while. But if you don't know who I am, then here's where it all started. So I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back to 2010 in February, and it was cold. And I was driving a van for a wine merchant based literally over there. You could probably walk to it in 10 minutes. Howdy, Stephen. Thanks for joining. And I'd been working for them probably then for about 7 years, and I liked it. I loved it. I loved driving a van all around the place. I liked smashing wine, drinking wine, selling wine, buying wine. It was really good fun. But in 2010, I went to a wine tasting that changed my life. I went to a wine tasting, and there was a guy there dressed in tweed, and an old josser, as I like to call him, and he asked me how things were, asked me how the website was doing and how the shop was doing, and it was a conversation I had that changed the course of my life, because he suggested I join Twitter. I totally accepted that he knew what he was talking about, and I joined, and that's what I did. In 2010, in February, I signed up a small wine merchant called Underwood Wines, based right over there, to Twitter. And everything I'm about to tell you is what I've learned from then to now. I'm going to cram it into 30 minutes. I made it up, and I'm making it up tonight. And that's one of the biggest things I want to leave you with before we even get started, is a lot of this social media stuff, a lot of this marketing stuff, is just made up. The best marketing I've ever done, I made it up on a hoof. I didn't overthink it. I just got on with it. So when I started tweeting for the wine merchant, I didn't realise this, and I thought you had to do really complicated stuff. And I started researching things I didn't know, and I started talking about wine tasting tips, food and wine pairing, and things I didn't know about. And it failed miserably, absolutely miserably. I didn't know what I was talking about. I wasn't passionate about it, and I made it up, and it was false. And I tried to sell. All of those things fail miserably on social media. And I know that now, but back then I thought that's what you did. You had to prove that you were an expert. You had to share really complicated stuff. And that's what I did. But I wasn't passionate about it. So for 3 months, as some of you may well know watching the stream, for 3 months I sold wine on Twitter and I sold no wine. It just did not work. It didn't work. Selling wine didn't work. So I decided that Twitter was a total waste of my time, and I quit, and that's what I did. But luckily for me, lots of stuff that I found later on worked. So just going to say hello to a few people who have joined. So howdy to Paul, to Louise, and Emma. No, is not the same as my foresight. It's not the same as my foresight. No, it's not. So when I started using Twitter, all I did was sell. Just one tweet a day, rubbish, absolutely awful. But since then I've realised that Twitter is not about selling, okay? It's about telling your story constantly throughout the day. It's kind of like, if you were going to try and describe to a friend at the end of today, so it's, 8 o'clock now, if you had to try and tell someone in text messages what you'd done today, that's what Twitter's for. You literally share what you're up to all the way through the day. And that's what I did. And driving around the van, in between deliveries, I just sent text messages, tiny, short, sharp updates of what I did during the day. If you do that with Twitter, it works really well. If you do what I used to do when I started, which was buy my wine once a day, it's a load of shit. But if you share updates throughout the day, and if you pieced it all together, if it would tell a story and you could pretty much tell what you'd done, that's the best way to use Twitter. Now, I don't use it like that now because I'm doing loads of other stuff at the same time. My Instagram story, I'm probably doing that, but I've not been that hot on it the last couple of days. But that is the best way to do it. Hayley Hilton's found me after 5 minutes. I'm not hiding. So, as much as possible. Often people will say to me, how often should you tweet? And I always say, a lot more than you already are. Twitter is incredibly busy. And it's a live update. People go to Twitter for the live, up-to-date news. So your business and your life is interesting. So share it. But the problem most people have with Twitter, and the problem I had back then, was it's all about me. And it's all about them. And all they shared was content about themselves, and that's all I shared. And if everyone does that, no one talks to each other. And the whole idea of Twitter, the whole idea of social media, right, is people talk to each other. There's 2 places now I want you to look at. Go back to Twitter, because Twitter's coming under fire right now. People are saying it's dead and it's no use to anyone anymore. And I say, bollocks. It's not. It's just changed. There's 2 places I want you to go and look at. One of them is the search. The search on Twitter is a hugely underrated area. You can search live conversation right now about anything. Absolutely anything. One of the best examples of this is live TV. So If you watch Britain's Got Talent or the X Factor or something quite huge, look at the hashtag on Twitter, and you'll see this conversation live. It's one of the best ways to use Twitter. If you're at a show, so certainly if you're in business and you go to an expo, if you're a fanatic about meerkats, just search for that topic on Twitter and get involved with that conversation. That's now where Twitter is. That's where it lives. Too many people have kind of, I don't know, historic with it, and they think you just have to chat to each other all day long. You'll all see each other's tweets. It's incredibly busy. That's the first place. Go to the search. The second place you've got to use hashtags. That's the point of Twitter. It's all linked together. Really quick example, I'm in Warwick at the moment, and hashtag Warwick has been quite busy this weekend because a councillor said something rather stupid whilst tweeting about the Eurovision, and hashtag Warwick has been covered in some controversy, which has been quite interesting. But hashtags link things together. Now hashtags can be topics, they can be regions, they can be TV shows, but that's where I now go for Twitter. Years ago, when I drove the van, yes, I was updating my life all day long and adding stuff and sharing pictures, and that worked then, right? People saw tweets, people saw the updates, they got involved. But now it's super busy, so I'm making sure I'm going where the conversation is, I'm getting involved in conversation. I'm probably spending a lot less time on Twitter now, but I'm going to where the conversation is. Okay, so that's Twitter. I'm promising I'm going to cram this into 30 minutes. Just going to catch up with a few people who joined up, has just got here now. Howdy to Catherine Smith. I'm late, standard, obviously. Howdy to Marcus, thanks for coming along. Ben Kelly says you're breaking up. Hopefully that's just you, Ben, because everyone else seems to be okay. I'm not going to press that button because it'll probably break it. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, but it's broken up here. It's working down here, so forgive me if I've missed any off. So I've just quickly run through Twitter. If you've just joined, I'm literally going to cram between February 2010 and now together what I've learned just to give to you so you can use it. So Facebook is next. One of the biggest things I've done about Facebook since 2010 to now, in 2017, is you have to use what Facebook currently uses. Go where Facebook is new. At the moment, that's right where you are, right now, if you're watching it live or on a replay, it's Facebook Live. Facebook is pushing this product in a huge way. It loves it. It's its baby. It must have spent a fortune on it. So if you use Facebook Live, Facebook is more likely to show you to people. That's why I've gone live tonight on my page to see if I can get some more reach on there. I very rarely go live on my page because I'm very much about personal branding. But I wanted to try it on here. Howdy to Ray, who's just arrived, and Jan Dennings in the house as well. Awesome. Someone I met a long time ago on Twitter. So use what's new on Facebook. So if Facebook bring out a new product in 6 months' time, start using it and get there first and work it out and break it and build on it and start to work out how it works. That's what I've always done with social media. I've got there early. I'm what's called an early adopter, and I'm not even as early as the early adopters. But I love using stuff. I was quite early in Periscope. I was on Meerkat when Meerkat came out. But Facebook Live is the big thing at the moment. But don't get stuck with these things. If it changes, you've got to move. So that's the first one. The second one is you've got to pay. 2 or 3 years ago, I was telling people, don't pay on Facebook. You can cheat, you can use this, you can use video, you can ask questions, you can post pictures. Do you know what? It's actually better if you pay now. You don't always have to pay, so I don't always pay. For example, with this video here, I haven't paid to get what's nearly 45 people live on here. I've promoted it elsewhere, I've pushed traffic to it. But if I'd have promoted it, more people would have come along. I may boost it afterwards to get to a specific audience. But if you are going to pay, make sure you pay to the right people, because Facebook is pretty much the world on there. It's the largest, I think it's like the 3rd largest population in the world. It's ridiculous. So don't just pay to the people that you want to get the message to. And there's loads of cool ways you can do that. I'm not going to go into it now. But don't just pay and put it out there and expect it to work, because it doesn't work. Facebook loves it if you keep topical. I was chatting to a guy earlier. I was at John Russell's house, and he said, well, it's called newsfeed for a reason. And I really like that comment. It's a newsfeed, right? So if you share news and topical stuff, Facebook's more likely to show your content to other people. So make sure you put stuff in there that's happening now. Try and work your business into things that are happening now. So if you're an accountant and it's the budget, you've got to talk about the budget, right? If you're a social media agency and Facebook bring out a new product, you've got to talk about that. Facebook loves topical stuff. Work out how you can talk about it. But sometimes I try and avoid politics just because it kicks off. But if that's your bag, then go for it. A couple of questions come in. So Facebook has been massive for my business, says Jacob Jake Anthony. That's awesome. Jacqueline says, do you do a Facebook like Twitter book? Would be happy purchase. I haven't written one yet, Jacqueline, but that's a great idea. She's talking about the ebook where I wrote. Hayley Hilton was checking my personal page, but I did share it to my personal page, but there you go. And someone just said present, lol. Check it in. Thanks, Sonny, for joining. So go to the new stuff. Pay, keep it topical. And number 4, which is what I'm trying to do here, and I will go back in the comments, is engage. That's the point of social media. Just as an aside, don't do Facebook Live if you're not going to comment on people. I purposefully have 2 screens so I can keep on top of the comments if I can. That's the idea. And the idea of social media is to have a conversation. So don't use social media if you're not going to engage. And now, from van driver to right now, I've always engaged. I've always been interested in chatting to people. I'm a bit of a show off, absolutely. I'm in my office now, I've got lights shining on, absolutely massive show off. But I do reply to comments. I reply to virtually every single thing I see. I genuinely want to engage with people on the page. So make sure you do that. And as an added bonus to that, create content that makes people engage. People love a question, they love a competition, they love a like and share even though you shouldn't do it. They love a photo caption competition. People like that stuff. Try and engage them, try and make them have a conversation with you. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. Keeping it topical, that's absolutely true. So, that's Facebook. This is cramming it, absolutely cramming it into 30 minutes because I promised I would. Clues in the title. The third one is blogging. Now, when I was a van driver, so I started on Twitter, went to a wine dinner, met a drunk guy on Tweed, joined Twitter, literally how it happened, started tweeting. But we had a website and a web developer at the time, and I said to him, look, really need to get some traffic to this website because we want to sell wine online. That's the way I saw the world going. How do we do it? And he said, one of the best ways to do it is blogging. But I made a massive mistake when I started, and I don't want you to do this if you're about to start blogging. Don't have your blog on another site. So we had a website, you've got the home page, the about page, and all the other pages. Have your blog on that website. Don't have it over here on some other satellite website, because that's what I did, and it was great, and I got a lot of traffic to it, and I had a lot of conversations, but it's over there. It's not here on my website. And it's not telling Google that this website is interesting. So if you go into blog, make sure you don't make that mistake. What do you blog about? Well, it kind of goes back to the Facebook stuff. Keeping it topical, keeping it relevant, trying to engage people. Do you know some of my most read blogs are when I piss people off, when I have an opinion. When I really, really go for the jugular, people watch and read those pieces of content. So try and do that with your blogging. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do this. Not everyone's going to be able to do this, but it works. It's absolutely worked. A couple of questions come in, so I'm going to try and hit those if I can. Jan Denning, I find Facebook really effective at promoting and engaging an audience, but sales conversion is low. Is this usually the case? Depends what you're converting to. Try not to convert someone from try and skip the coffee part straight to sex. Try and give them something cheap to start with. I personally try to advertise my workshops, £200 a head, straight from nothing, doesn't work. It's really hard. So have it as part of your strategy. Neil Porter wants to know how many drinks I've had. 3 pints in the pub. I was working though, creating a video for a client. What's your thoughts about adding a business page to your posts? I've heard last week that Facebook doesn't like it if not a Facebook page. In theory, Facebook likes you to have a personal page and a business page. The best thing about business pages is analytics and advertising, but I use both. So I'm kind of like doing both. But I suppose your thoughts are about, sorry, I've misread that, adding a business website to your posts. Facebook doesn't like linking out to stuff. I think that's what Hayley said. If you're going to post on Facebook and you link to something that's not in Facebook, Facebook hates that. It wants to keep you on Facebook. I think that's what you're saying, Hayley. If not, then come back to me on that. Back to blogging. So keep it relevant. The title is hugely important, though. The title is so important. I always say this in my workshops, but one of the most read websites in the world is the Daily Mail. right? Now the Daily Mail, I don't give a crap who you are, is fucking awful, okay? Stop reading it. Rubbish newspaper. I want to get some hearts for that moment, by the way. But the titles on the Daily Mail are phenomenal. They are the most clickbaitable, clickable, beautiful things you've ever seen. And it drives people to that website. And then when they are there, it's driving people to other articles with brilliant titles as well. Take a tip from the Daily Mail. Write amazing titles. Write titles that describe things, that tell you what you're going to get when you click on it, that tell you how many things, that almost tell you how long it's going to take. Why do you think today's title was marketing tips within 30 minutes? Because it's telling you what you're going to get. I've just frozen down here, so forgive me if I stumble, something's happened down here. I'll carry on just in case it carries on going. It seems to be okay though. So take a tip from the Daily Mail. Make your titles just incredibly clickable and just almost descriptive of what you're going to get when you come on the page. I think it's just my computer that's frozen, but I want to get the comments back, so forgive me while I just refresh this. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. It's still alive. It's still alive. This is the beautiful thing about going live. You just got to crack on. The third thing about blogging, one thing I didn't really get about blogging is I spent loads of time writing great blogs, in my opinion, right? I even live blogged during a day driving around in the van. I thought it was amazing content, but I didn't share it. If you're going to write content, if you're going to create content, if you're going to spend time typing content out, please share it. Put it out everywhere. And I'm not about you. I'm not about you sharing my content. I'm not about you sharing your own content. I spend a lot of time sharing my own content, putting it out there, lighting the fire, fanning the flames. You have to start that fire. Too many people write a blog, they put it on their website, and then they leave it there. That's not what it's about. The work starts after that. So share it on email, put it on Twitter loads of times. Put it on Facebook and pay for it. Tell people, answer emails with it, put it in your email with it. Just put it everywhere. Be a complete whore with your blog. You can tweet that. That's a great title. Put it out there. There's no point in writing it if you're not going to share it. And the fourth thing I'm going to leave you, one more thing I'm going to leave you with blogging is understand that people will skim read your content, right? People will skim read your content. There is no way you'll ever get away from it. You skim read my content, you'll skim read this video. Not everyone will watch all of it. That's fact. It's life, right? This is what it's all about. You'll be watching, you'll be reading, you'll be on your phone, you'll be walking down the road, your train will come, your flight will come, you'll just read tiny parts of it, and then you'll move on. Make your blog content easy to skim. If someone can read your blog just by skimming through the subject, like the subheadings, and maybe a tiny bit of the conclusion, and get something from it, they're likely to share it. And they're likely to take something on board and think, that guy's all right. I learned something from this guy today. I read Spaghetti Agency's website and I learned something. Even if they don't read every single word, I've still impacted on them. And that's all I'm trying to do, and I'm giving value. I'm not after them reading every single word. That's not what it's about. So just be mindful that people are going to skim read. Just going to get back onto the comments down here. So share content is that is actually shared. 9 amazing ways too. Yeah, definitely. Blogs, titles, Facebook page, Twitter. Eddie's just loving the ticks. The only thing I have about that is titles look like the same. Yeah, lots of the titles look the same. So it's a good comment from Katie. Try not to just see a great title and just put your own words into it. Literally write what the content's about. So I've written about this, social media masterclass in 30 minutes. Someone's probably written that somewhere else, but that's actually what this is. And if I put this in my blog this week, that's the title I'll use, and I'll put it in the email too. So yeah, lots of the titles, it's very hot under these lights, lots of the titles are the same. So try not to be like everyone else. Hopefully I never do that. Hopefully I'm not like everyone else. Keep the comments coming, really appreciate those. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to type some comments in, I will come back to them. And the fourth one, so Twitter, Facebook and blogging. As a van driver, I started using all those tools. To be honest, Twitter was the biggest thing for me back in 2010, 2011. Massive tool. Really good stuff. But I started using email, and the wire merchants I was at the time just did email marketing very badly, and it was never anything I got involved with there. But when I started my own business, email was one of the places that I went to. But initially I was really scared about it. Initially I had this kind of, call it like this, my little emails, my little precious emails, and I've collected them for many, many years, and I just want to look at them and touch them and look after them. And of course, if I send an email out, someone's going to unsubscribe. I'm going to lose one of them. So I didn't email for a long time. And then I went to a conference, and there was a really good guy speaking there, and I've forgotten his name. I've never remembered his name. And he said a brilliant thing. It changed how I looked at email marketing. And he said, if you've got a massive email list and you never email it, you don't have any emails. You don't have any subscribers. And I thought, that's actually bloody true. And he said, if people unsubscribe, at least they read it. And I thought, well, I don't really understand what that means. I kind of look at it now and think, he just probably meant engagement. But at least I was sending emails. So I started sending emails. Now, before I get into email marketing, I'm going to ban a word. I'm banning it. You can't use this word in the context of email marketing. Newsletter. Okay, I'm banning it. You can't use that word anymore. You can't send a May newsletter. It's shit. Okay? Do you know what a newsletter is? It's everything about you that no one gives a fuck about. And you're going to send that out to your email subscribers and wonder why they won't open it and why they unsubscribe. Because people don't give a shit about you. They care about themselves. So if you're going to send email marketing out, send stuff that helps people. Right? Hopefully this helps. I mean, I sent this out earlier on email. Hopefully some of you have come through from there. Send emails that actually help people so they'll open it and think, cool. That's what email marketing is for. Yes, it can sell stuff. I absolutely sell off the back of my emails, but I don't send newsletters. So banning newsletters. 2 things you want to concentrate on in your email marketing before you've even written the just reams of just stuff you're going to put in there. The subject line and the first line of your email are the most important parts. If you screw those up, no one is going to open your email. Fact. And you do this, and it doesn't even have to be your generic monthly email. See, I ban the word newsletter. Even in emails, just standard emails to people, I write cleverly worded subject lines just so they get opened and noticed. Because on a Monday, if you send an email, pretty much you're going to get ignored. So get clever with your subject lines. Also, you need to build some kind of consistency into it. Todd's having an alcohol sweat. It's the lighting, honestly, it's really hot. You need some consistency to it. And one of the best things we did with our email marketing, pure accident, we started sending an email out on a Friday. And we sent it out every Friday now. We're coming up to our 250th episode, or episode, is that the right word? Not really the right word. 250th edition is the word I'm looking for, of the Friday Digital Roundup. But because it has some consistency, people have even started expecting it to arrive. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't expect Amazon to email me. I don't like email voucher when they don't email me. So I'm kind of quite blessed that people want this email that we sent out. But it's the consistency of when it goes out that's the important thing. So if you're going to send an email, try not to get too sporadic. Try not to get too haphazard with it. And don't send an email out for the sake of sending an email out. One other thing I learned from that conference was don't send email for the sake of sending email. A couple of other questions come in. Titles are important everywhere, Hayley. Yes, they are. They're important in text messages, everything. That's my N-word out the window. Kev, I banned it, mate. It's gone. Email got me there. D. Johnson. Does that mean you're not doing what you are doing, or you're sending newsletters? Don't send newsletters. Don't send me a newsletter. I had to digress slightly. Todd's digress moment. I had a email earlier from a graduate, and he emailed me, to whom it may concern. I thought, for fuck's sake. And then he put at the bottom, kind regards. I thought, fucking hell. I've got to save this kid. I've got to save him. So I emailed him and said, look, do you want some constructive criticism on your email? I'm not looking to hire anyone at the moment, but do you want some criticism? He said yes. So I said to him, you don't talk like that at home, so stop emailing people like that. A quick 30-second Google, you'd have found my name, you'd have made it more personal, keep it personal, and play around with your subject lines. Your subject line is dull, and please never ever put kind regards in an email to me again. And I was really friendly with it, but I put a link to my YouTube video that I did, my Instagram video that I did today, and sent it to him. So, you know, hopefully he found that helpful. So, email, subject lines, first lines. Don't worry about unsubscribes. It's just going to happen as long as you're selling great content and you are honestly trying to make a difference in people's lives. Keep going with it. Try and get some consistency into it. Kev Scott loves the roundup. Thanks, Kev. I really appreciate that. Oh my God, so many hearts popping up. Oh, bless you all. Please do keep hitting the hearts. It does nothing for my Facebook reach. It boosts my ego. Thank you. Data. Now I'm going to talk about data now. Look at these hearts. It's lovely. I'm going to talk about data. I wonder if you could brand hearts. Just had a really weird moment. Oh, you could brand. Imagine if they were cactuses. Got to stop thinking. Stay on track, Tom. Data. When I started, I got obsessed with data. Facebook likes, Twitter followers, analytics, Google Analytics. They're all good things to go and look at, but don't get obsessed by it. Because recently I've realised it's all a load of shit. Because it'll show you kind of what's happening, and your Google Analytics will say where the traffic comes from and how long they land on there for and blah, 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 blah. Do you know what the analytic I check most is? My bank balance, my cash flow, and my customers. That's the data that's important. A lot of this social media stuff, it just goes out there. You put it out there, you can update your story all day long on Instagram and Snapchat, and you can tweet all day long, you can do videos like this. I can have plus 40 people live and I can get hearts. It's lovely, but it isn't paying my bills. What pays my bills is when people actually do something. But also what I've noticed recently is a lot of people, and it's happening now, will watch your stuff, they'll read your stuff, they'll retweet your content, or they'll just look at your Facebook post, but they'll never engage with you. Now, I sent an email out today to nearly 3,000 people. I did not get 3,000 phone calls. Hi Todd, thanks for your email. That didn't happen. 3,000 people pretty much got it. Ivan's got a lot of cactuses. 3,000 people would have got that email. Some opened it, some didn't. Some actioned it, some didn't. But that's okay. But some of those people will have seen this event. They won't be here. They might look at it later on, or they might just feel bad about it later on and say, I saw you were live, I couldn't make it. But that'll only happen in real life. And I'm getting that a lot. I'm getting to events, I'm seeing people in real life where they'll say, I really like your video about so-and-so. I did a Facebook Live recently in my car. I tried to do the worst Facebook Live ever for irony. And loads of people talked to me about it, but I didn't realise they were watching it. So with all of this stuff, this data, which is fantastic, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. Sometimes the data can pull you back and it can stop you doing what you need to do. You've just got to trust me that I would not be sat here right now in this chair with my partner down the road at antenatal classes if it wasn't for social media. It's changed my entire life because I've put my heart and soul into it. I've put my life on there, put my business on there, and I've shared what I'm up to. But for every single tweet I've sent, there's been 300 that got ignored. For every email I've sent, there have been 10 that bombed. For every Facebook Live I've done, there's been pretty much 9 out of 10 where not a lot happened. But I just keep doing them. Have faith with it. If you can work it into your business and your life so it doesn't screw it all up, do it. Put it out there. Because this is the age where people are documenting what they're doing. But don't check the data all the time. And that's a tip for me, because I'm always checking data. But you don't always see what's called the dark social. People who just look, people who just peer, people who never comment. There's loads of them. This stuff works. But if you check the data, you'll be worried about it. So that's kind of it. Crammed. But I'm going to leave you with one last thing, and that's personal branding. There's a reason I do a lot of stuff myself as the face of the company, because personal branding is really, really important. And social media certainly enabled me to build a personal brand when I was working for the wine merchant. I thought, when I was tweeting for the wine merchant, that everyone knew Underwood Wines. That's what I thought they knew. It wasn't until I left Underwood Wines and people followed me to my new business that I realised they weren't following Underwood Wines, they were following Todd. And that's the same with a lot of big businesses. Big businesses have a front man. Bands have a front man. People follow that kind of identity, if you like. There's no such thing as business to business and people to people and business to customer. It's H to H. I learned that a couple of weeks ago. Human to human. The best way to connect with a human is just like this. To talk to people, to connect with them, be yourself. And that is something I've done since 2010, is I've just been 100% unapologetically myself. If you don't like me, fuck you. That's how I've been. Because it enables me to do what I'm doing now. Be super excited, be in my office at 8:30 at night, and actually a lot of people are like, yay, I like this, I like this, I like this stuff, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to connect with him there. If I worry about the people who don't like me, I wouldn't do this kind of stuff. So be yourself. It's absolutely important. When I left Underwood Wines, the day I left, I won an award for all the social media stuff I've been doing. I had an email list of about 300 people from all the community work I've been doing, and I started a business. But it wasn't an overnight success. People had followed that story for a while. They'd followed the journey, and they liked it. And they like me. Weirdly, some people like me. I have no idea why. Because because Jo hates me and I live with her. So I don't know why people like me, but they do. And I'm just unapologetically myself. So if you've got any questions, bang them in the bottom. But if you want more of this, if you really enjoyed this, I run workshops. That's what I do. Back in 2011, I started training businesses in a pub for £20 a head. It's gone up slightly since then. But our workshops are really quite popular. And they sell out all the time. This month is sold out. Forget it, don't ask me. Please don't beg to come on it. I get told off if I cram them in. But June the 23rd in Leamington Spa in Warwickshire, I have a workshop. Or June the 2nd in Manchester, I have another one. I run through all the content about Twitter that I know. Facebook, in-depth, Facebook advertising, massive blogging masterclass in there. Loads of stuff on video, because I love video. And email marketing as well. Lots of stuff. I'll show you the system. I'll show you the system that I use. Because it's really important. It's the basis of our business. It's kind of the engine of our business. And I feed this engine every month. I won't move the camera now, but I've got them all on my calendar on the wall there. We run through it all in there, and that's what we just teach in the workshop. So if you've enjoyed this, then you get a whole day of it. If you think I'm a dick, don't come. It's a whole day with me, okay? That's a massive mistake. Just look at one a few questions down here. Todd's work was awesome, says Paul Thompson. I've clicked. Thank you, Todd. You brought clarity, says D. Johnson. Pleasure. That's exactly the type of comment I want. Even the social media cowboy tweets, do some real work. Do some real work. And Joanne Brooks, this is my first Facebook Live. Well, welcome along. The best way to do Facebook Live is to hit that reaction right now. So get loads of hearts across the screen. If you've got any questions, I've tried to cram it in 30 minutes, but I'm more than happy to sit here and answer questions. Then just comment and I'll do it. But that's basically me from 2010 to 2017 and just the tip of the iceberg of what I've learned. And there's one other thing I want to leave you with that I've written down there. Don't overthink it. About an hour ago, I was still eating my dinner in the pub. And I had absolutely no idea what I was going to talk about tonight. Not a sausage of an idea. Don't overthink it. Go with where you are in a moment. Share what you're up to now. If you have a great idea, put it out there straight away. Too many things get overthought and you ruin it. Just put it out there. If you're chatting to someone in the pub, you just go backwards and forwards. Put it out there. Yes, it's risky. No, it's probably not the best thing you should do. But don't overthink it. Don't worry about the data too much. How much does that cost? Christopher, if you're talking about the workshop is $197 plus VAT. So full day with lunch, free parking. I'm constantly posting on Facebook, and try to vary my posts, but I don't get likes and engagement. I see similar businesses get engagement doing the similar stuff. What am I doing wrong? That's from Glenn Slattery. Glenn, are you paying to post on Facebook? Because your competition probably are, or they're working the system. So Facebook has an algorithm. It wants to share certain types of things. If Facebook didn't have an algorithm, you would see thousands of posts every day. It would become like Twitter and you'd leave. So it only shares the most topical, popular stuff. The way to work Facebook is to share topical stuff, controversial stuff, relevant stuff, videos, Facebook Lives, or pay. That's the way to do it. It's a newsfeed for a reason. It's a great comment I heard earlier. Join the newsfeed. If you're looking at, if there's been a massive concert, I was going to say disaster, I want to end on a high. Been a big concert or something amazing happened, or the Queen's birthday. Most of the newsfeed is going to be around that. If you talk about that, you're more likely to get seen. I suspect, though, that they will be paying. Are you on LinkedIn, Todd? I am. I'm on LinkedIn as my proper name, but I can't say it because I hate it. So do look me up. Do you have a prediction what will be the next big thing in the coming years? There's always something that's on trend. What's this year's? I'm keeping a close eye on Instagram stories purely because Gary Vaynerchuk is using it a lot and I kind of follow a lot of what he does. Video for me has been the big thing for the last 2 or 3 years, as you all know. But Instagram stories is kind of where I was with Twitter, just updating. I think it's a good thing to build. Facebook have tried to rip off the story thing and it hasn't quite worked. So have a look over there. It's a good thing to do. I'm looking at doing live cooking show on my page. Biggest tip. Jacob, that's an awesome idea. So Jacob Anthony makes bread, live cooking, great idea. Jacob, if you're going to do live like I've done here, some of you may have noticed that I've gone live and I've promoted the shit out of it. And to be honest, I was going to promote it more and I forgot. Life gets in the way, right? If you're going to go live, don't go live now. Don't think, oh, I'm going to go live. Like, think, oh, I'm going to go live in a week. And then promote it. Create an event. Put some content out on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook advertising, on your email. Tell people. Send people to it. Facebook Live, if you just go live, it doesn't work for you. You aren't going to get people here. I've had over 40 people on here, which is great. You know, it's fantastic. You guys should be watching the telly or something, but you're watching me, which is fantastic. Why am I not antenatal? It's a girl's antenatal. It's not antenatal. It's some sort of stretching thing that men aren't allowed to. So yeah, so I'm not in trouble. Even send you a paper copy. Yeah, I will write you a Facebook ebook, Jacqueline. That will come. That will happen. Kim, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me live. Any more questions? I'd love to have them along. Katie Sharp got love Instagram stories. Sacked off Snapchat for that. That's kind of what happened. The big thing with Snapchat is if you don't like Snapchat, but your audience are very young, you've got to get to like it. If your audience aren't young, they're my age or above, forget it. Forget Instagram stories, you know. But I think Instagram stories it's going to, for me, it's kind of replacing how I used Twitter in 2010. So who knows? But it's all about video. No one's grasped this Facebook Live thing yet. I've not seen it annihilated in a big area. There's a lot of people using it well, but I've not seen like lots of people using it consistently all the time. Even I'm not using it all the time. I should use it more. So get involved with video. Now you're thinking in your head now, I fucking hate seeing myself on video. Just record yourself and delete it. Record yourself and delete it. Record yourself and delete it. And then get over it and post it. That's the best advice I can give you for video. Really, it is. I've got some lighting in here. My microphone broke tonight, so I couldn't get some good sound, but don't overthink it. Video. Do video. People accuse me of being famous. I meet them in real life and they're like, oh my God, it's you. I'm like, who the fuck's this guy? And they know me from the telly, from the small screen. And it's a very, very powerful way to connect with people and build an engagement. So there you go. So thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the stuff. Best time to post on LinkedIn is between 3 and 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And I'm not making that up. That's a fact. I learned that last week when I was giving a talk. Someone told me. Hump day at the end of almost just gone over the hump. 3 till 4 p.m. Most offices sort of thinking, bloody hell, it's been a tough week already. I'll just have a quick look at the internet. And they feel like LinkedIn's a good place to go. Good place to post some stuff. Kev, absolute pleasure. Go for it. Jacob, it's good to have you on board as always. Thanks for all the support. Really appreciate it. If there's no more questions coming in, I'm going to go, but I will wait a couple more seconds. So there you go. Do Facebook Lives, people, as well. It's really important. So I've gone live from my page tonight, but I've shared it. So at the very beginning, if you didn't catch that, or if you joined the replay and skipped forward, I know how it works. At the very beginning, I got my laptop down here. There's the laptop, and I went onto my own page and I shared it to my personal profile, the event I created where some of you guys would have found this, and a couple of groups that I'm a member of as well, and chucked it all into there just to help drive some traffic to here. You won't get a lot of organic reach on your page. It's around 1 or 2% if anything. So pushing it from other places is a good way to go. So there we go. Famous but no TV time. See, I'd like to be on TV, but this is my TV. I reckon TV's on its way out. I don't know about you, but I don't watch TV anymore. I mean, I'm kind of a bit unique with it really, but I'm not watching TV. I just think it's on its way out. But should I do live on my page or my personal? Marcus, that's a great question. For a while I've been going live on my personal. Now I use my personal, it's not a unique way, but it's not the way most people use it. My personal Facebook, I connect with all the people I go networking with. So I connect with anyone I go to for networking. It's a networking organisation in the UK, and I friend request them, and that's just what I do. So when I go live, I connect with those. If you use your personal Facebook just for friends and family, it's not really going to work if you go live in there for this kind of exercise for business. Just going live for the sake of it, then cool. But if you go live in your page, Marcus, it's good for your reach. So tonight I've gone live from Spaghetti Agency. I've had to push a bit of traffic to it from other places, but it helps the reach. Hopefully, I'm going to test this afterwards, the reach, which is how many eyeballs, how many timelines see this video, is going to be higher because this is one of Facebook's babies. And if I promote it, it's more likely to get more views, and that's the way to do it. So it's kind of a balance in that, really. I probably would have had more people live if I'd have gone live on my personal profile, but this will help the reach on my business page, and some people will only find my business page, so they might miss all my personal videos. It's really difficult. It's like when people say, should you get reviews on Facebook or Google? Both. Do both, because you don't know where people are going to find you. Cheers, Jacqueline. Thanks for coming along. Ivan, what about having the videos with subtitles? 98% of people who watch my Facebook videos do it without sound. Facebook and YouTube, you can add CC, caption comments, I think it's short for, I'm not sure, automatically I suspect very much that Facebook Live are building it into the platform so it will work live. I can just see it happening because Facebook are well ahead of the game. But yes, you should have captions on your videos. Quite frankly, I can't be asked at the moment, but I know I've got to do it. Most of the big marketers got captions on their videos, but it's just me, and it's just you. So how much time have you got? But there is the automatic captions, YouTube and Facebook. Just be careful because it's not amazing. It's okay. It's like Google Translate, you know. It'll get some stuff wrong every now and then. Cool. Thanks, Hayley. Hayley, I'm up in your region. 2nd of June, doing a workshop. So if you want more of that, on a full day, book it. I'm up at Tranmere Rovers on the 2nd of June. I'd love to see you there. So there you go. I'm overrunning, Todd. I am. Well, I'm just asking questions. I got the 30 minutes in. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna shoot. I'm trying to keep up the comments down here because it's broken on here for some reason. I have no idea why. It just still says Mark Wilkins joined. So I don't know what's going on here. I won't start messing with it. He says as he touches it. Facebook is constantly updating it, so things break all the time. Dun, dun, dun. That's all of those. Cool. Right, I'm going to go. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. It's good night from the Meerkat. It's good night from me. I might go and get that 4th beer now, but it's probably a bad idea. I hope you found that useful. If you want more of this, if you want to spend a whole day with me, trust me, it's me for the whole day. You know, take a long time to work that out. I go through all this stuff in depth and build it into a system. If you're based in Warwickshire, the 23rd of June is the next one because this month is sold out again. But if you're based up north, northwest, June the 2nd, Tranmere Rovers FC, the whole workshop, the whole system that I do, I'd love to see you there. But for me and for the Meerkat, we're going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on board. I'll see you soon. Yeehaw.